when I'm not staying woke in the whitest way possible. I like to answer questions that I get on YouTube, so let's get to it. Great video, Sean. Can you please demonstrate the fancy E minor chord? Thank you. You are my favorite guitar teacher. So, E minor. The first chord a lot of guitarists ever learn how to play. Second fret on the A string, second fret on the D string. You're good. You can even just play the highest three strings. Any combination of E and G and B get the job done as an E minor. This is really just kind of the classless, basic way to play E minor. My favorite voicing of the E minor to make people think that I know what I'm doing is this guy right here with a variation, okay? Open E, ring finger 10, which is a G, right? Your middle finger is grabbing a B note, open G, and then your pointer finger grabs this other G, or you can open it up, all right? Now again, you can also get the high E string. Okay, so loser E minor, champions classy. Now, it really works well if you're doing it in a progression where you're already using a bunch of open chords. Like if you're in the key of C, right? You can play this C major, and then just slide. Now, you can actually use this whole shape for all the chords, and then kind of get variations of the same chord, right? So let's say we have a 1, 4, 5 in the key of C, or C is the 1 chord, F is going to be the 4 chord, so we just find the F on the A string, which happens to be right there. And then you can see this as a G, which we talked about was the E minor, but as long as we have your ring finger here grabbing the D string, then this is really technically the only difference between a G major and an E minor. Okay, so we kind of have a little bit of confusion that you're letting the listener try to decide what you're going for, what artistic direction you're taking the song. So again, just kind of like a quick slide tip. I think it always sounds pretty cool to slide through the guitar string. So instead of, C to E minor, it always kind of sounds cool with that slide, even instead of just sitting on E minor. You can kind of have some movement into it. And then do what you want. He thinks he's such a stud and about to get some poon, loser. So this is actually a salty comment that was on the Scare Tactics video that I posted. If you didn't see that last week, check that out, because one of the subscribers alerted me that I was on an episode of Scare Tactics over a decade ago, and I was kind of reliving the whole moment in there. But even on a different video, I still was able to cull some salty comments, so I definitely appreciated that. The door kick was so fake, LOL. The whole thing looked staged, LOL. This is also from the same video, and you know why it looked staged? Because it was staged. It's a reality television show. It was me being thrown into a group with a bunch of actors, and a lot of people also commented like, oh, the acting is so bad. Yeah, because they're Scare Tactics actors. They're just bad actors. That's why I wasn't scared in the first place, because it was so weird, because none of it seemed real, because everybody was acting and not just existing. So again, that's probably why I didn't seem all that scared, just because it was super, super weird. So some people commented on my acting. I'm sorry that I didn't do a better job of acting as myself in an unforeseen circumstance, but that's what we ended up with. When it comes to music, you either got it naturally or you're just struggling trying to learn it. That about sums it up. Now at face value, I kind of feel sorry for this guy, clearly having a hard time learning guitar, but at the same time, if you look further into this comment, it's super insulting just to assume that people who are good at music are just naturally, innately good at it. That takes away all the hours, countless hours of practice and education and trying to get good at something. I've taught so many students that I know that, like, there definitely is a thing such as talent. Like some of my students pick it up super quick and they're awesome at it, and that's great. And some people don't pick it up as quick, but guess what? They practice and then they become just as good, if not better, because they have like a more fundamental understanding of it. So I feel bad for people who think that they can't do it. And part of the whole reason this channel is just to inspire people and encourage them to do it, because absolutely anybody can do it. If I can do it, I promise you, you all can do it. But yeah, to say that like you either are born with it or you can't, it's really like a very insulting way to look at like playing an instrument, and does a huge disservice to the people out there who are actually practicing and trying really hard, learning the craft and rocking out. Hey Sean, if I start a chord progression on a suspended chord, how does that change the diatonic structure of the key, given that the suspended chord is neither major nor minor? Well, if you just start with any suspended chord, that's really not enough information to tell you what key you're in. Now, you could take a fair amount of guesses at it. Like if you start with like a D sus2, which a lot of the Emerald Riders stuff does now that I play it, it's like, all right, well, what key are we in? A lot of people would guess that you're in D major. I think that it's the role of the artist to always assume it's minor. So I see a suspended chord, whether it's 2 or 4, and I think of it as being minor unless I have further information. Then when you get more information, then it's like, okay, well, if it's a D chord to an F chord, then it's like, okay, well, now I know that F is in that key, supposedly. Again, there's exceptions, instead of F sharp. So then I know that it's a D minor. Whereas if it's like a D sus chord to a C to a G, then you can usually kind of think of it as being, you know, the 5 chord in G, right? But again, that's the beautiful thing about suspended chords, is it kind of creates a little bit of that mystery where you don't have to reveal what key a chord progression is in. And that's why it's great for kind of creating like, maybe like an instability or like kind of like a open type of feeling in your sound. So again, experiment with putting suspended 2 chords, suspended 4 chords on pretty much anything. Now again, there's, you know, if it's just a sheer numbers game, if you are suspending like a 4 chord, right? Like a D sus4. Well, what it can't be the 4 chord in any key. And that's where modes comes in. Again, if you hate the modes, sorry to bore you with it. But like if you know that the Lydian mode has a sharp 4, then that's like one potential major chord that you could strike off the list. So there's a lot of stuff that you can kind of like infer from suspended chords depending on what they are. But I think just the overall lesson is just to use them wherever you think sounds good, and then use them to kind of create a mystery of what key you're in, and then really a great tool for creating interesting, super fun chord progressions. For listening homework, I'm going to throw you to my man Bibio off his album Silver Wilkinson. Awesome stuff. Me and Justin actually talk about this album a little bit on the podcast that we're doing, which is also up, so I'll link you to that. Link you to some classic vintage Bibio. Definitely do yourself a favor, check him out if you're unfamiliar with it. Just great music. He makes awesome instrumentals, awesome kind of lo-fi sounding just singer-songwriter stuff too. You won't be disappointed. Check out the masterclass in the description too. Just check out everything. Just check out a bunch of stuff, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.